Good morning. Good morning, Facebook. Give me that on top of that thing up there. They got a selfie stick. If you don't see it, don't worry about it. But good morning, Facebook. This is your favorite truth teller, Rabbi Minor here this morning. Sporting my U.S. Army Ranger cap. But what I want to discuss with you this morning, I got up with, it was on my mind this morning, early this morning. For those who know and those who don't know, it's called Agenda 21. Agenda 21. Is anyone familiar with that? If not, it would pay one to be wiser to what it is. I'm on a post on my Facebook this morning, Agenda 21, and the FEMA coffins. Now, approximately about 5-6 years ago, I went to a meeting here locally where I live, and it was a very high-powered meeting. And the way it came about was kind of by providence, or by the will of God, is what that word means, if you didn't know. By divine providence was me and my wife inside of the local, I think it was a grocery store, wasn't it, Leslie?
Roses.
We was in Roses. Now, this was approximately 2000 and, I believe, 13, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been 11, but I think it was 13. But I had a posting on my page about it. But anyway, I went to the local meeting that night. Well, what happened when I saw the paper in the store, me and my wife was in the store, and there was a stack of papers there. And I went, I don't know, just by them being turned down. Why would a stack of papers be there? But anyway, I went and picked the papers up and flipped it over. And they said they have a city meeting tonight at the county rec center at 7:30 promptly. So at that time, it was about, I'd say probably about 6 o'clock. And so what me and my wife did, we continued shopping and went on to the house. And I told her, I said, baby, what I'm going to do, I'm going back to this meeting tonight. Okay? And I'm going to see what they're talking about. You know, and they said the public is advised to be there, you know, all concerned. So I said, okay. So I went to the meeting. Matter of fact, I just dropped my wife home by the time we got finished and turned around and came back to town to go to the meeting. So I attended the meeting, and as I said, it was a very high-powered meeting. All the public officials were there, every one of them. The city council was there, the mayor was there, various government entities. They had a man from Washington, D.C., 2 men from Washington, D.C., two from Atlanta, Georgia, and one from South Carolina from the nuclear plant. Well, at this meeting, it was approximately 100 people. I'd say about 100 people, maybe a little bit more, but definitely not less. And I was really blessed to see that a lot of those people were black people. It was like 60% black, and I was proud to see that, because a lot of time we can't pay no attention no more if it ain't Jay-Z or Beyonce. We don't want to hear it. Well, anyway, there was some well-concerned black people there, and at the meeting. Well, anyway, the guy got up and then he spoke. He said, "This is what they said at this high-powered official meeting. This is what was said, and I quote." He said, "There's coming a disease." He said it's gonna come through here, and anybody can get this thing. And they say animals particularly gonna help spread it. It was approximately, like I said, a little over 100. I'd say maxed out 120 people there. And he said the kill rate is gonna be so high to the people that you seeing right here in this room, maybe the only survival rate. Now, the county that I live in here has approximately 20,000 people maximum. And well, anyway, they were in there giving their speeches on it. They said it's gonna be a disease that come through, and it's gonna wipe out a lot of people. Now, these government officials, they're saying this. So I didn't want to seem too smart because I had heard of Agenda 21. And for those of y'all who don't know what Agenda 21 is, I implore you to look it up. Well, I didn't want to seem too smart in there and, stand out. So I asked him, I say, sir, he said, we'll be taking questions afterwards. So after it was over, I asked him, I said, sir, is this a part of Agenda 21? And the guy looked at me, and he looked at his buddy. He said, well, it's a government program, so I'm pretty sure it is a part of Agenda 21. He's being evasive, but he did confirm. He said it could possibly be a part of 21 is what he said, really. He never really confirmed or denied. So I said, okay. So I took the paperwork, that the flyers that they'd put out, and I took them and came and posted it on Facebook. And I told my local community about it, which no one else at that meeting, I didn't hear any more talk about it. Where approximately 365 days later, now that'll be a good starting date, exactly what time this was. They brought in a man that had the Ebola virus, or whatever that virus was, but they brought him to Atlanta. If y'all recall that. The CDC brought that infected person to Atlanta. And I implore those who are in the Atlanta metropolitan area to get the heck out of there. But anyway, so I was telling my brother about it. Mr. Eddie Hinton. And Eddie didn't believe me. He said, well, that sounds a little far-fetched. Now, a pastor went up there in Madison County, Georgia. Now, they've moved him from Madison County at this time. From Madison County. He went there in 2005, and he saw the caskets. Now, since so much publicity came upon it, they moved the caskets from Madison to in Eddie's, basically about 5 or 10 miles from Eddie's house. And he lived in Covington. And he wanted to go down there and see where the casket's real. The FEMA coffins is called. I'm going to post a link on my page about it in a few minutes. It's waiting to be posted right now. You posted? All right, my wife posted it already. Okay, but you can check my page out at this point right here. You'll see the FEMA coffins, which is a part of Agenda 21. Anyway, Eddie went and seen it. When he saw it, he said, man, as far as my eye could see, all I saw was caskets. Now, one would think, why would the CDC have that many caskets? Well, that's why the Lord laid it on my heart to tell y'all this morning about Agenda 21. Depopulation, sustainable development. Now, I'm sure most of us are too busy thinking about Jay-Z and Beyonce to pay this any attention. But I implore you, my Hebrew friends and family, look up Agenda 21, sustainable development. Now, let's find this in the Bible. Now, anything that's going on, we should be able to find it in the Bible. Because as I told you, everything on this page right here, it's going to come from the Bible. Now we're going to go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 9. That fulfills the prophecy that Jesus told his disciples. Baby, would you pull up Matthew 24:9? I got it open right there.
Right there.
I'm going to read it, what it says. I'm going to read it, what it says. It says, all these are the beginning of birth pains, verse 8. Verse 9. Then they will hand you over to be persecuted and killed. Did you hear that? He said this will take place in the last days. You will be handed over to be persecuted and killed. And you will be hated by all nations on account of my name. Those caskets ain't no joke. Now this is going to be a short podcast, but I'm going to say the subject of it again. Agenda 21, the FEMA coffins. It's very easy to YouTube it. The FEMA coffins. Now I had my brother went up there to see it, as I said earlier, and he videotaped it. And I posted it on my Facebook, but I'm sure by now they've taken it off. I need to go back and look that up. But as far as he could see, there was nothing but coffins lined up. I don't think it's a game. I don't think it ever was a game. That's why we're being so entertained. That's what happened to the church today. The church has a spirit of entertainment has taken over it. We already knew about the money and the fornications and the adultery that takes place in the church and the prejudice. The church has become a den of thieves. So anybody with good sense, like we Hebrews know, that the temple is right here. This is the temple. But as far as these churches today, it's about money, pretty cars, hoochie coochie girls and boys, and this miming and wearing these tights and doing things. Man, ain't nobody can keep their mind on the law looking at that. You know? And I don't want to hear it, because I've heard pastors, my own self, speaking of these issues, because they were partakers of it. But God got a way to bring us all down. But I tell you this right here. I implore you once again, my Hebrew friends, particularly you, Mr. Michael Wright, look up Agenda 21. Sustainable development. You don't even need the sustainable development part, just Agenda 21. Okay. Matthew chapter 24, verse 9 fulfills that prophecy. Now that's what the Lord laid on me this morning. And I pray that you'll look into it and see what's going on. Good morning, Sister Dash. Thank you for your support. But please, I implore you, Agenda 21. This is very serious. I love you. Coming from the Hebrew nation. Ride with God or die without him. Love you.